Today I'll be sharing with you our Montessori daily routine. I do stay at home with Stella, but whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you work from home, you can certainly implement different portions of this throughout your day. We always start the morning with some morning cuddles, but especially today since yesterday was Stella's 15-month checkup, so she was feeling a bit under the weather. We opened the windows to let some of the light in and we head over to her bedroom. We don't have a toddler wardrobe set up just yet, so I just hang her clothes on the closet for her to select like this. She rolls up her sleeves, we brush her hair, and then we head back into the bedroom to brush our teeth. Once that's done, it's time to clean up the room and make the bed. Stella usually either explores her materials or the bedroom, or in this case the thermometer, and we always have to have music playing in the background. Once we head downstairs, this is typically Stella's first round of independent play with her materials. However, since she wasn't feeling that great, she wanted to spend some time just reading books together in her little tent. But we really needed to get breakfast going so she can continue taking her medicine. So we relocated the books into the kitchen so I can get the kitchen cleaned up and get some breakfast going. And Stella was over here with her rhino reading some of the books. At this point, Stella is not very interested in helping with breakfast preparation, but she does enjoy helping make her snacks or get her lunch ready. So what she does for breakfast instead is just set the table, get her rhino there. She's also been very interested in trying to figure out how she can actually independently sit on the chair, but somehow that always results with her just standing on it. So we're still working on that. She doesn't typically read while she's eating breakfast, but considering her condition today, I allowed it. And of course, she's got to add her cinnamon into her oatmeal. Once Stella's all squared away, I'll quickly grab something for myself and I'll either sit at our actual dining table so I can model sitting in a chair for her, but today she definitely wanted me to be closer by, so I joined her at the weaning table. And I think her favorite part of breakfast is cleaning up. After we're done cleaning up Stella's portion of the breakfast, I will clean up my own portion, and depending on whether or not we have lunch ready, this is usually when I'll get lunch started for her because I make a soup, so I'll have that boiling away while Stella independently works. Again, because today she was definitely very clingy, she wanted to work with the books while I was in the kitchen, and then I joined her in her play area. And depending on the day, sometimes we have more time just to work on materials, and if there's a presentation that needs to be done, this is when I'll usually spend that time with her. A lot of times she is doing this work independently, and this is my chance to either continue working in the kitchen or get some cleaning done around the house. Sometimes we'll also head over next door so Stella can visit her grandpa, but today, since she wasn't feeling too well, we just hung tight and worked on this new material that I put together for her for opening and closing different containers. She was very interested in it, and you can see I was giving her some presentations of the stuff that she wasn't too familiar with yet. If the current shelf rotation I've got going for Stella is something that she's very interested in, or I've got a new material like this one out for her, she'll typically be engaged with the materials for quite a while. So if I don't interrupt her by offering to go to Grandpa's house or doing any kind of interesting practical life activities like cleaning or doing the laundry, she will typically engage very willingly with her materials all the way through snack time, and then will continue to do so after her snack. However, we do usually need to get at least some chores done around the house, so I'll usually find a break of when she's lost concentration and is looking of what to do next to offer to join me in some of the chores that I'm going to be doing around the house. If the weather is going to be extremely hot later on in the day, we might also do our outside time earlier on in the morning. However, the weather was pretty gloomy and it was quite cold outside, and since she wasn't really feeling up to doing much except sitting around, I figured we would just spend a day hanging out together and working with her materials. This is a new barn that I got for her just recently to work on her latches, and I mentioned this in my previous video that I did. She had just received it last week and she's already mastered quite a few of the latches, so it's definitely interesting to see how well she's able to master a material if it's something she's very interested in. So between this material and the opening and closing material, she was very engaged for the first couple of hours of the morning. Around this time, we would typically actually go ahead and make snack, which a lot of times Stella likes to make a smoothie around this time on her own, but because she slept in so late, lunchtime was just around the corner, so I figured we would go outside. She tried to put on my shoes instead. That wasn't going to work. So we went over to grab her shoes. We didn't actually need a jacket, but she's very interested in practicing taking things off the rod and putting the hangers back on, so we did that for a few seconds, and then we headed outside. During the summer, we used to go to the playgrounds right after dinner time before bath time, but because it's been getting so dark so quickly now, I typically try to go to the playground with Stella before lunchtime. However, I could see that on this day she was really sleepy, and she probably would have fallen asleep either in the car ride or in the wagon ride. So we went to the backyard instead, and Dad and I had made the mistake of not putting away the water table, so she was immediately drawn to that. And then I started asking her where her eyes are, where her ears are, because that's typically a game she likes to play, but today her answer to everything was, it's not here, and she thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world. We had a little fountain going, so she decided to dip this poor little flamingo into the freezing water, and after that it was definitely time to go get changed because she was definitely way too wet to continue the day as is. Always have to have a little bit of a dance break with her. Her favorite thing is to dance either with Dad or I, so there's our little daily dance break. At this point, we've rolled up to lunchtime, so I've got the soup heating up on the stove, and Stella wanted to work with her dressing frames. You'll notice she's got a little friend that she's carrying around again. Since she wasn't feeling very well, she definitely wanted some extra company. And then we've got this little floaty that we had purchased thinking we would actually go on vacation before the Delta variant hit. So we just pretended that we were actually at the beach with Stella and not in the middle of cold Chicago. While she hung out by the pool, I went ahead and checked on the soup. We still needed a couple of minutes, so I joined her in reading some of those autumn books that I've got set up for her. Again, this is typically a time when she will continue to engage with her materials independently, but because she wasn't feeling very well, I wanted to make sure that she felt that she had some extra comfort and companionship. For lunchtime, we went ahead and washed her hands, and she helped set up the table. Again, I do bring the soup over to her, but once she's done eating the soup, any kind of crackers or fruits, veggies, cheese, whatever else she'd like to have for the rest of her lunch, she can go ahead and access in her little cabinets and her little mini fridge over there. You can see she's getting her little plate ready for that. This part is definitely a favorite for both of us because she gets to feel like she's in control of her lunch, and I just love watching to see what kind of choices she's going to make that day. I've also just recently introduced this little dishwashing brush to Stella, and she's been completely obsessed, so she really wanted to make sure she got a nice long turn cleaning off her dish after lunch. On a typical day, once Dad is home, I will try to go out for at least a short run. If it's a really good day, both of us get a chance to alternate who gets to run. Stella did sleep in a lot longer, again with her nap time as well, so while her and Dad hang out in her favorite little tent reading some books, I'm going to get started on dinner time. I thought that by this point she might be feeling better and could join us in eating some little burgers that I would make for her, but she was definitely still under the weather, so I'm making her some comfort foods while her and Dad hang out. And we will be having some burgers, so I will switch off with Dad so that he can go outside and grill, and Stella and I can continue food prepping. Any kind of food prep that Stella is able to help with for dinner, we will typically do throughout the day as kind of a practical life activity instead. So once it comes to actual crunch time during dinner, she's either engaging with her materials independently, or as of late, she's been wanting to join us in the kitchen, just working with her pretend play kitchen. We are still pulling up her high chair over to our dinner table for dinner time, and it's been working quite well for us. She feels like she's part of the community and we're eating together. We had to make our table much smaller so we could fit her little functional kitchen in there as well, so we definitely don't have a lot of space to work with. Once we're all cleaned up from dinner, Dad actually went outside to finish cleaning up the backyard after the barbecue, while Stella and I put away the dishes in the dishwasher. She, like most toddlers I think, is a huge fan of helping out with the dishwasher. And at this point, this is Stella and Daddy time. She was very excited to show him this new material. And while they work on that, this is typically my chance to go ahead and finish up any of the tasks that I couldn't get done with Stella's help. So getting the rest of the counters clean in the kitchen, if we need to get some more laundry done, or just organize anything around the house, this is typically my time to do it while they engage in their special time together. But it wouldn't be a Montessori toddler if some kind of work wasn't interrupted by a necessity to sweep. So she was very proud that she was able to grab this rogue bag and a magnet, and then she headed back over to her playroom looking for her partner in crime. Yes, that's right, she was waiting for Dad to come back so she could hand him over this big broom, grab her little broom, and they could get started on cleaning up the rest of the house. And because I could see that Stella is definitely feeling much better and wanting to engage in some practical life activities, I asked her if she'd like to join me getting some of the towels into the laundry, and she was more than happy to do so. So we're collecting all the towels around the house, getting them into the washing machine while Dad continues the sweeping, and we're going to go ahead and get ready for the rest of the night. I recently introduced this new step into our cleanup routine, which is rolling up her Montessori mat, and she's absolutely obsessed with getting this just right together with me and then putting it back into the corner at the end of the day. Once she's done, she likes to wave goodbye to her playroom, and it definitely seals the deal that this is the end of our playtime and we're now transitioning into our evening routine. This portion of the routine is pretty much the same as our nighttime routine, so I'll go ahead and link you to that video. You can join us over there, and until next time, I hope you stay safe.